defense of the 8th Air Force is marked by more than 40,000 white crosses, 40,000 Native Americans.
We were young and soldiers called to dedicate our lives in the name of God and country. Do what's just, boys, go do what's right. A hot band of brothers waiting on our chance to add one more page unto the victory dance. Here am I, Lord, send me, send me. Victory lies in the spirit of the lives of the men who died for me.
Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, here am I. Send me.
This is Michael Broderick, Marine Corps veteran, actor, and Gallant Few board member. You are listening to the New American Veteran on Vets on Media. Now here's Carl Monger.
Good afternoon. Today is May 28th, 2014, and if this is the first time you've seen or listened to the show, welcome. We're very glad that you're here. The New American Veteran, or TNAV for short, is dedicated to those who said, here am I, send me, and we honor veterans, highlight those who have transitioned successfully, and identify resources that help veterans leverage their military experience into successful and rewarding lives after the military. Gallant Few's purpose is to prevent unemployment, homelessness, and suicide. And we fight the isolation that leads to despair by connecting all of the separate threads of our hometown, of our service, all the separate threads of our service into one coherent, functioning nationwide web of support. And we challenge communities to take responsibility and leadership in transitioning veterans home. I like to say Gallant Few is everywhere, and Gallant Few is right where you are. Interesting fact, when you look on the National Resource Directory or any of the big veteran or veteran serving listings, you're not going to find Gallant Few on there when you do a zip code in your hometown. But I would about guarantee you that if there's not 10 volunteers in that town, there's at least one. So you got to reach out. You got to look at gallantfew.org and let us help connect you. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into this. This episode of the New American Veteran is brought to you by USAA. USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of the military community. USAA, we know what it means to serve. Let us serve you. And today's episode is dedicated to Sergeant Major Brendan Durkin, affectionately known as Duke. Happy birthday, Duke. I hope you have a great day. It was an honor and a pleasure to serve with you at 175 a long time ago, and to see you still on active duty is a treat. And you're retiring pretty soon, so congratulations. And I hope the next portion of your life is as rewarding and successful as the military portion of your life was. I also want to say congratulations to outgoing 1st Ranger Battalion Commander Colonel Robert Harmon, and congratulations to incoming Battalion Commander Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Tegmeyer. Colonel Harmon moves on to become the Deputy Commanding Officer of the 75th Ranger Regiment. Further announcements, make sure you visit gallantfew.blogspot.com. And on Facebook, it's Gallant Few. On Twitter, it's @GallantFew. And on Facebook, we also have a page just for this show, and it's New American Veteran, all spelled out. So if you go to facebook.com/New American Veteran, you'll find us. There is a quick news story that I want to highlight here, and I'm going to see if I can bring this up and share the screen. I'm still going through my training on how to properly use this format, so sometimes I get it completely right, sometimes I'm a little bit off, but I think I can pull this off now. What you're going to see here is a website. This is from Kansas City, and over the weekend, painful Memorial Day weekend, it says at the very beginning, for the Sims family. Their son, an Iraq War veteran, was killed during a police standoff. The family said he turned to the Kansas City VA Medical Center for help, only to get turned away. Now, I learned about this just a little bit before this broadcast started, because one of the volunteers for Gallant Few, Philip Kitts, who, if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that we have done some events that he has benefited from as he has gone through his traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress, and a number of other injuries. We have helped him stand up his photography business, and he is doing some just fantastic work, except that he is hampered by the physical stuff. And without going into all the details of that, I'm going to tell you real quickly that the doctors are telling him, and this is, we're talking about maybe 4.5 years of getting jerked around through the medical system, active duty military side, and then on the VA side. And he has balance problems because he has a perforated eardrum that went diagnosed but untreated for 2.5 years because nobody told him about it or his wife about it. And with the balance problems, they're trying to correct that now. They've figured out why he has a balance problem, so they have him using not a walker, but like a one-handed walker thing, and then he switches to the other hand, so he's supposed to rotate it around. Well, yesterday he's walking across their house with one of these walking sticks, and he loses his balance, falls down. Now he's fractured his hand through his wrist. So to add that to everything else that's going on. But this soldier that took his own life over the weekend, by suicide, took his own life, served with Philip Kitts. And so that's how I found out about it so quick. One of the I haven't had a chance to watch the news report because this just came into me, like I said, right before the show started. But Sergeant Isaac Sean Sims, 26 years old, was third-generation Army veteran who served with the 82nd Airborne, and eardrum blown out, 80% disability from brain injuries. And that's something that I'm going to dig a little bit more in and try and learn exactly what the deal is with his case. And coming on the heels of all the other things that we're hearing about the VA, it's no surprise that happens. So now what I want to do is I'm going to play a video for you, because I tried to do this the other day and I ended up playing just the recording and not the video as soon as I can find the link so that I can pull it up. And this is Boone Cutler talking about the Spartan Pledge. Now I can do the video because I figured out how to make that happen. So let's see if I successfully do this.
The Spartan Pledge kind of looks like this, and then I'll give you the rundown.
All right, give me the window where he is talking.
Not really popular, just effective.
And I'm not getting it. Darn. Well, I thought I had it all figured out and I was going to be able to show you Boone Cutler talking about the Spartan Pledge. So I am not 100% confident that you can hear him through this little Winamp window that popped up. So what I'm going to do here real quick is I want to go over, I want to pull up the actual audio, because I think it's incredibly important that this message about the Spartan Pledge gets disseminated far and wide. And when I get the guests on the show today, when I talk about what they're doing to raise awareness as they go across the country and perhaps around the world, this is one of the things that we need to continue raising awareness about.
The Spartan Pledge kind of looks like this, and then I'll give you the rundown of how it got started and how popular it's become. Not really popular, just effective. I will not take my own life by my own hand until I talk to my battle buddy first. My mission is to find a mission to help my warfighter family. That's the Spartan Pledge. It's nothing you have to memorize verbatim, but just get the gist of it. And that is, we don't kill ourselves until we talk to our battle buddy. And our mission in life is to have a mission that helps our warfighter family. About 3 years ago when it started between two guys, myself and my battle buddy, Nacho. We were in Iraq together, and we'd lost touch with each other. He called me one night when he was upset because a friend of his had committed suicide. And this guy, if I'm not mistaken, was a police officer at the time, but he was also a warfighter. He was a veteran. And that brought up the subject of suicide between us. And we realized that both of us had spent a lot of time thinking about suicide but not talking about it. And with the suicide rate in America being what it is today with warfighters, it's something that is a definite, relevant subject. Since then, I've taken that pledge with other warfighters, more than I can honestly remember. And now not too many people take that pledge with me because they've gone on to take that pledge with other guys, and it's just permeated throughout the community. Every guy I know that I took that pledge with has taken it with several other guys. It's been put on posters on Facebook and all over the place. And in my opinion, nobody owns it. We all own it. We all own a piece of it. We all have a piece of that, the Spartan Pledge, because it's something that means something. Because we don't trust the doctors. We don't even trust our family members, but we trust our battle buddies. So take that pledge with your battle buddy. And remember, if someone takes that pledge with you, that means you're taking it with them. Me, I'd have to call and contact a lot of people if I was going to off myself. And I would, because I took a pledge. That's the descendants of Sparta. That's what it's all about. That's what the Spartan Pledge is. If we can just do that, we don't need all the other stuff. We take care of ourselves, we take care of our own, and we maintain a mission focus. The Spartan Pledge. That's where it comes from, and you decide where it goes. Contact a battle buddy. Talk to him. Find out that what you realize and what you think is reality is not necessarily reality. We all are going through the same thing in silence. You don't have to sign a paper. You don't have to make a dedication online. It's just a phone call between two guys, two warfighters, male or female. Doesn't matter. I will not take my own life by my own hand until I talk to my battle buddy first. My mission is to find a mission to help my warfighter family. All the way. Make it happen.
So you want to find out more about the Spartan Pledge, descendantsofsparta.com has got the full video, and you just heard all the audio to it. It's only about 2.5 minutes long, but it's an incredibly important message, and we can't have a veteran out there that's isolated, that's not in contact, that does not feel like they are loved and supported enough that they can pick up the phone and call somebody that they trust and love and respect, and that's probably somebody that they deployed with. So they need to you need to pick the phone up, and you need to call somebody you deployed with, and you need to make them watch the Descendants of Sparta Spartan Pledge and take that pledge with you, because whether or not this kid would still be alive today if he had done that, we can't say. In retrospect, we can't war game that to that point. But like Boone said, when you make a promise to somebody that you've deployed with, you're not going to break that promise. I'm also today, this is a little bit, it's not the most comfortable thing to wear, but this is what's called an honor ring. And I met a Marine Corps veteran here a couple of weeks ago in the Dallas area that works with the Brain Performance Institute. And the honor ring is, they call it the silent salute. And it's made out of gunmetal. It goes on your trigger finger. And if anybody asks you about it, you say, that's my reminder that 22 veterans commit suicide every day. 22kill.com is the website where you can go get an honor ring, or you can learn about what their campaign is. And I hope to have them, I hope to have them on this show here before very long. Okay, I'm almost ready to bring the guests on the line, but first, a quick word from my man at Ranger Up.
Hey guys, this is Tom Memento from Ranger Up, and you're listening to Carl Monger on Veterans on Media for the Gallant Few.
Gallant, that's the southern pronunciation of gallant. I figured out. I was trying to figure out where that came from. All right, let's see. I've got Marty on the line. I don't see Leo out there yet, but let me see if I can successfully bring Marty on here real quick. And this is some high-speed stuff, trying to figure out how all this works, you know. And that was the wrong button. There we go. Now I got you. All right, let's see. Marty, are you there? You might have to unmute yourself. I clicked the camera button off, so double check and see if you're muted. Yes, no? I can see your smiling face down there in the little corner, but right now you're muted, so I can't hear you. No, I think your microphone is muted. Until you make some noise, your face won't pop up on the screen. And yet we know it worked because we did it. We had a little sound check right before the show started. All right, now let me see. Come on now, we got to have an unmuted microphone, and we'll be good to go. But for some reason, I cannot unmute you from here. I can see the microphone is shaded red, So that's got to be on your end. There's got to be a button that you can click to unmute yourself. And where you can look for that, over on the left, popping me up a chat message here. It's not letting you click it. Okay, double check it. I don't know if you're on this or not, but look over to the left if you can get over to your control room, and you should have a pop-up there that allows you to select one or the other. And while you're looking at that, let me see. I'm going to play a clip from Brandon Young over at Team Red, White, and Blue while we're figuring this out.
Hey, this is Brandon Young, the Director of Development for Team Red, White, and Blue. We're a veteran service organization that connects vets to their community through physical and social activity. And just encouraging you guys, if you're out there, sign up with Team Red, White, and Blue. Go to www.teamrwb.org. Select Join the Team. We'll get you plugged in through our Veteran Ambassador Program. Get you plugged into your local community. We've got 75 across the United States and international. We're growing very quickly, and I just want to remind all you vets out there that you've got a place, you've got a community, you've got a family. You're not alone. Come on out and get involved.
I think I'm good now.
There you are. All right. Well, you did the right thing coming out and coming back in.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, Marty, it's nice to see your face and say hi to you. Do you know, is Leo going to be able to pop on? I didn't get a response from him on the email earlier.
Let me send him a message real quick and see what he's got going on. I know he knew about it. May have been into some technical difficulties. Hold on one second.
All righty. Yeah, while you're doing that, while you're sending him a note, I'm going to tell the audience that I get a message from Marty here a couple of weeks ago, and he said, hey, we're thinking about doing something that's pretty phenomenal. We're going to do this trip, and it's going to be extremely challenging because we're going to have nothing but what we carry on our backs and a little bit of cash in our pocket, and we're going to see how far we can go, and we'd like to raise awareness on veteran issues along the way. Are you in? And I said, absolutely, I'm in. And so Marty, you're one of the co-owners of Blackside Concepts, is that right?
Yes, I am.
What is Blackside Concepts?
So it actually was started while I was still in the military. After I wrote something and it got pretty popular, we had some people asking us to put it on a poster or a shirt or something. So we actually started off as kind of a T-shirt and clothing company, I guess. But anybody who knows me knows I'm not a clothing designer. I have no ambition to go that route. So we actually, we started off as T-shirts and stuff like that, but we've actually transitioned more to a media outlet where we run a few different websites like the Havoc Journal and Hit the Woodline, as well as getting into some books and stuff. But as you've probably seen some of our articles and stuff, one of our big things is kind of telling our stories and kind of putting a highlight on issues with the VA, issues with veterans transitioning, and really trying to highlight that stuff through what we're doing. And hopefully, the bigger we grow, the more reach we have, and the more we can help out.
Well, it's hilarious. I remember reading not too long ago your piece about since the Army was tightening up their standards on tattoos and beards and that kind of stuff, Rangers were going to go back to the high and tight, and that was on a hit the Woodline was a satirical piece, but there were so many people out there that thought it was real, and so I'm getting pinged messages on social media. Can you believe this, man? I can't believe these idiots are doing that to the regiment. It's very funny.
Yeah, we kind of use the satire sometimes for humor, to hopefully give guys a laugh, and some of the more serious pieces, it's kind of we've discovered that satire and getting people riled up is a good way to draw attention to issues that typically wouldn't get a lot of attention. So we kind of use it in two different ways on Hit the Woodline.
And what do you typically post on the Havoc Journal?
So Havoc Journal, we actually everything used to be on Hit the Woodline, but we discovered that having just a satire column on an otherwise 90% serious website just did not work. So we split the two websites up and made Hit the Woodline strictly satire. Now Havoc Journal is all of our quote unquote serious stuff. And we have a couple of different columns in there ranging from national defense and national stuff to just culture where we kind of talk about things that are important to us as veterans or important to our country or and Leo writes some fantastic philosophy pieces he puts in there, really thought-provoking stuff. So we've got a little bit of everything in there.
So tell me about your background, because you and Leo did not serve in the same Ranger Battalion, if I remember right.
No. So a little bit about myself. I actually joined the Army the summer between my junior and senior year of high school, and then left, 2 days after graduation for basic. Ended up in 1st Ranger Battalion, where I served in Seco, and I was there for about 4.5 years. Some of the greatest men I've ever served with, and that's really what I'm trying to do to this day is live up to the standards that they set, because I don't think I did it while I was there. And then I went out and did recruiting for about 3 years, and then that was around the time when I started the business that me and Leo hooked up, and I asked to sponsor him as an athlete, and now we're business partners.
You don't realize when you're serving in that unit what the environment really is and what the caliber of people that they're good because the things that you're able to accomplish, but when you leave and you go back out into average people, then it becomes so much more apparent what you're missing, and it's very, I can't even articulate. I'm pretty good at words, and I can't articulate what it feels like to have that kind of loss, because it's almost a death, but it's not really a death, and it's just weird.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. Since we've moved out to Colorado here, there's a very strong community of Rangers that we do a pretty good job of keeping in contact with. Everything from Ranger breakfast to the other day for Memorial Day we got together, things like that. But there's 50 or 60 guys out here that we've been able to bring together that are all former Rangers, and it really is nice being back around that caliber of person, and kind of makes you feel at home being around them.
Yeah, and if you're slacking off, they're going to come kick your butt too.
Absolutely.
All right, so tell me about what you guys are. What's the Nomadic Veterans? What's up with that?
So, as we've transitioned to more of a media-based company, we want to be able to expand with that. And I originally started thinking about maybe to kind of raise money for this expansion for the company, we could do like a Kickstarter campaign or one of the crowdfunding things, like a lot of businesses do. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, we kind of have what we call the Bridging the Gap initiative, which is basically the same thing as what you're doing, except we focus a little bit on as well, bridging the civil-military gap. And I thought, we're a huge fan of the mission you have at Gallant Few. Why don't we just kill two birds with one stone? And when we do this fundraiser, partner up with you guys. And and I had to think of something outrageous enough to do to draw some attention, and I guess taking off with a backpack and trying our luck in the world and with little else was the best thing I could think of. So asked Leo to come on board with me and for the trip, and he was all about it, and now we're getting ready in about a little under 2 weeks here to take off.
So did you pick Leo because he's a medic and he'll be able to stick you with an IV if you get dehydrated or something?
Well, if you ask Leo, I picked him because he doesn't have a job. But the truth is that yes, he was a medic. He's very smart. He's personable. Part of what we're doing on this trip is filming a documentary that highlights veterans transition issues, and he's got the right personality to be in something like that. And honestly, too, if we get into trouble, I absolutely trust him to have my back. So he just really fit the bill.
So how are you planning to raise money? What's the plan? How are you going to measure that?
So we started off, the original idea was to get pledges by the mile, where people pledge a certain amount per mile. And when we launched last night, we ended up getting inundated with messages about, hey, I just want to do a lump sum or a straightforward donation. How can I do that? So we actually kind of called an audible there and canked the per mile donation. Now we just have a straight fundraiser where people can donate, and we'll be letting people follow us on the whole trip while we're filming, posting stuff, and basically, as we travel around the country and hopefully around the world, we're able to really draw a lot of attention to this issue through the things that we're talking about, and the mission of Gallant Few and all of that. So we'll really be we'll be getting after it anyways.
Yeah, here's your Indiegogo site, and it's just Nomadic-Veterans. So you can find it. I've got it linked on the Gallant Few blog at gallantfew.blogspot.com, and it's all over social media now too. But indiegogo.com/projects/nomadic-veterans, and that's where you can find that. So you guys are off to a pretty good start. You just started, and you already got about $300. That's
we launched pretty late at night last night. It took me a little bit longer to edit the video we shot to kind of announce this, so it was a little bit of a late launch last night. But we've gotten some great feedback so far, and hopefully we don't disappoint, and we really deliver on this trip, and entertain while we're on the trip, and then provide a great service when we get back, and hopefully the documentary does well too.
I'm always interested in the perspective of a Ranger or another veteran that's on the outside kind of looking in. What was it about Gallant Few that made you pick Gallant Few as somebody to partner with on this?
I've worked with a lot of other nonprofit organizations and stuff, and even though we're a for-profit business, I try to do as much as I can to kind of give back to others and boost our community as a whole. And as I started researching more, and I constantly see you posting stuff in the Ranger groups on Facebook and stuff, and I started looking into it more, and your mission really aligns with what our focus is. There's a lot of things that you can focus on in veterans initiatives, but transitioning military members is a big one for us. Just because Leo is actually writing a book on his assimilation process, and I'm still, a year ago I was still on terminal leave from the military, so I'm still kind of going through it. But it's a very important thing for us, and you guys really, your mission really aligns with what we would like to kind of have as our focus, our philanthropy focus, I guess you could call it. I don't know if that's the right word or term.
You guys are a good example of the concept of Gallant Few, because it's about finding your Ranger buddy, or if you're not a Ranger, finding your battle buddy, and that's local to you, so you can hang out together, you can talk to each other, you trust each other, you respect each other, and in your case, you guys are going to carry each other for however many miles or latitude, longitude, grid lines that you cross along the way. So it is so important that you have that, and that's one of the things that I really like about this, because you have two of you that are going. It's the buddy system, and without that buddy system, you fall into the isolation mode, and your mind starts working against you, and all the other environmental factors and relationship factors start falling apart, and then a guy gets to feeling like there isn't anything left, or gal, and that's where the true danger for them taking their own life or hurting themselves is.
So when I first started kind of thinking about this and piecing this plan together, I actually intended on doing it by myself, because I kind of just thought, who else would want to go on something like this with me? And my wife is actually in her third trimester with our first child, and she was like, no, you need to find a Ranger buddy, or you need to get somebody to go with you. And she was absolutely right. It was idiotic of me to even entertain the idea of doing something like this by myself. So, luckily there is somebody that is just as unstable as far as going on something like this as me, and Leo was that guy. So, finding that Ranger buddy or battle buddy is absolutely vital. Not just for something like this, but I've bounced so many things off of him and a few of the other guys out here. It just it's made my transition since I ETS dramatically better. So.
Yeah, you just kind of let the cat out of the bag for the real reason why you're heading out on this trip now, because your wife's in the third trimester of pregnancy. So you're trying to get out of the house so you can avoid all that drama at the end, aren't you?
Yeah, I probably could think of a few more comfortable ways to go about getting out of the house, but yeah, she's I don't think she's the biggest fan of the idea, but she definitely understands why we're doing it and thinks it's important. And as kind of a we've talked a little bit about why we're doing this. It's to help expand our company. It's to help expand Gallant Few, but also on a side note, it's I hope someday down the road that my first daughter, her name's Lydia, we'll be able to look back and look at this and kind of see what her dad was doing before she was around, and hopefully set a good example for her and any other kids that I have. So that's just kind of a side, personal goal that I have with this as well.
Well, there's two parts to that Spartan pledge that I played right before I brought you on. The first one is that you're going to reach out to somebody before you hurt yourself. But then the second one is that you're going to find a mission to help your veteran family. And that's exactly what you guys are the embodiment of it. So I think it's great the way it all comes together.
I can't, honestly, I can't stress that enough, how important that is to have a purpose, or a mission. It's, like I said, I'm still within a year of when I signed out of the Army, and, they talk about having, utilizing PACE, have a primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency plan, and I think I've blown right through all 4 of those, and I'm on whatever the 6th or 7th step is, and, if it wasn't for the purpose and that motivation every day that I'm trying to, do better than I did the day before, I don't know where I'd be right now. So, I think it's absolutely vital, whatever it is, whether it's nonprofit work or running your business or getting to the next, tier of the corporate ladder, whatever it may be, or finishing your degree. I think, you've got to have something,
Well, and I think from my perspective that something's got to be something that doesn't necessarily reward you in terms of personal gain, financial gain. It needs to be something that rewards your soul. It needs to be something where you're taking something maybe that is uncomfortable, and you're going to do that for the benefit of others. And when you think about life of service when you're in the military, you make that pledge to live a life of service while you're in the military, and then when you get out, you don't have that life of service unless you happen to fall into something, or maybe there's some traditions in your family that you always volunteer at your church or a soup kitchen or something like that. But without that outreach part, you have an empty hole inside of you. And there are a lot of folks out there. Ranger Michael Streeter is a great example of this. He, for the last year and a half, 2 years, he really, really struggled with sense of worth as he went through the VA's vocational rehab, and he's dealing with his injuries, and he's dealing with the pain meds and all of that stuff. But it's all me. Let me fix, help me fix my problems. And as soon as he started reaching outside of that to look at how he could help somebody else, all of a sudden everything just lined up and started clicking and working for him. And he is 180 degrees different from what he was even 2 months ago. It's remarkable to see that change happen in somebody and so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing is for guys to realize where their strengths are, to where they can help other people. Whether that's showing up to the monthly breakfast to help out other guys and be there for them, or give out their phone number for other guys to give them a call if they ever need it, or as far as, helping out with specific trade stuff, or, tutoring guys as they're going through college, or, whatever it may be. It's, all of us, especially coming from Ranger Battalion, there's so many multi-talented people that come out of that organization. I really can't think of a single person that I served with in 175 that isn't able to, impact others around them in multiple different ways. It's just there's a lot of really talented people, and there's a quote from Prefontaine about something to the effect of not using the gift is to waste it, and that's why I think as we exit service, we've got a lot to bring to the table, and the least we can do is help out the other guys around us that may not be either as well off for us or just have different struggles than us. Maybe we're both struggling, but we can complement each other in different ways.
So Marty, how can people kind of stay up to date on your travels? Are you going to be posting some things every day as you prepare to launch out, and then as you go, or how do you foresee this going off?
So yeah, we Leo and I plan on making this a complete social media circus. It's we've got the Blackside Concepts Facebook page, and as well as the TF Black Training Facebook page. We're both on Twitter, same thing, Blackside Concepts and TF Black Training, and we're on Instagram as well. So we're going to be and then as well as our YouTube channels where we're kind of putting up videos. I put up a video to launch this last night, and then just put up one while I was waiting to come on the show about Leo talking about why he thinks I chose him to come. And anyway, so yeah, we plan on continuing to do that up until we launch on the trip, and then once we're on the trip, we're going to be doing updates as we have connectivity. Basically, we want to keep this as interactive as possible, and meet as many veterans along the way as we can, and to kind of help out with the filming of that documentary and stuff. And yeah, we're hoping this is a very interactive and you know, in the best way people can follow us on that is to get linked up with us on all those different social media venues or whatever ones that they you know, prefer to use. We're going to be all over the place.
Once we're done with this, make sure and give me a list of all of those sites, and I'll publish them on the blog so they're all in one place. You probably already have that too, but it doesn't hurt to try to ping that out to as many folks as possible. You know what would be cool? Two things that just popped into my head. One is with the network of rangers that we've got across the country and even in Europe. When you project going to the next spot, we might be able to identify some rangers that are there that will want to come out and see you and get some pictures taken, or maybe help support you, give you a place to sleep for the night or something like that. So that'd be pretty cool. And then the second thing is, if you happen to go into a community where there is a VA hospital, to just pop in and interview some random veteran that's out in the parking lot getting ready to go in about their experience, because with all of the publicity that's going on now, there are some things that don't get talked about, and that is when, in my personal experience, 90% of the time when I am in care, when I'm in front of somebody at the VA medical system that's providing medical care, they're good, they're caring, they really want to do right by the veteran. The problem is that gate that you've got to go through to be able to get into the system to receive the care. And that gate, you know, it might take, well, shoot, like they're talking, there's an article that just came out on Army Times this morning that says that 1,700 veterans in the Phoenix VA system were not put on the waiting list. They just kind of lost their stuff. That's not the medical care part. That's the administrative part, and that's the part that's really jacked up. So it'd be interesting to get perspectives of different people while you travel.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen, and you know, the different people that have reached out to us through the, you know, we put a few articles out about this, and we've had a lot of feedback on those articles. And what it seems to me is that how good or how bad a veteran's experience is very regional. There's some hospitals that are good. There's some that are not as good, you know. And you know, it's unfortunate that it's kind of hit and miss. I guess it's kind of something similar to any other organization you would find. You know, there's the good and the bad. But unfortunately, when we're talking about veteran care, whether it be health care or mental care or transition stuff, you know, we can't really afford to have a hit and miss system. You know, you brought up what happened with the soldier who tried to get help and, you know, was refused it, and it ended very badly for him. You know, we can't. That's a great example of why we have to be, you know, rock solid on this system. You know, if the VA is unable to get to that 100% mark, then I think it's the nonprofits and the rest of us that have to pick up the slack and plug those holes.
Well, and I appreciate what you guys are doing in terms of your personal sacrifice, personally with your wife that much pregnant, and the physical demands that's going to be on you while you take this trip. I mean, thanks for what you're doing. It's I think it's going to be a very good awareness event, and you know, hopefully you raise some money along the way. But I've always said the number one thing is, if people know what you're doing, they believe in what you're doing, then they're going to want to support and participate in it, and that's worked so far.
Yeah, and you know, we're really hoping that, you know, along the way that, you know, local news stations or local newspapers will take an interest in it, and you know, if we're given the opportunity to get in the media to talk about some of these things, then and talk about some of these things that these issues that guys are facing, and you know, what we're trying to do, it's I think it benefits everybody. The more we pound the media outlets, the more America has to pay attention to this stuff. You know, I feel like sometimes it's all my, you know, Facebook feed or whatever has is veterans talking about the stuff, but the reality is that, you know, we're all kind of in our own small little, you know, 1% community. It's reaching out to that other 99% and saying, hey, we're all in this together. You know, it's for the health of our country that we have a strong veteran population.
Well, can you imagine if the number of people supporting the true veteran organizations that do good was as big as the folks that support the Susan B. Komen Race for the Cure operation? You know, we could really make a dent in resolving the unemployment, homelessness, and suicide issues. Marty, tell us one more time where people can follow your website and your Twitter and Facebook pages?
Yeah, we have on Facebook Blackside Concepts, on Twitter at BS Concepts, and Instagram is Blackside Concepts, and then of course on YouTube you can look up our channel on there, Blackside Concepts. So it's all pretty much under there. And then Leo also has the TF Black training, which he'll be posting updates to there as well. So yeah, and as we're going along, pay attention to where we're at. If we're in your area, we'd love for you to reach out to us. We'd love to talk to as many people as possible, and we'd love to get as far as possible. I think the further that we get in this 21-day time cap, the more attention we'll get. And that's what we're looking for here. So,
well, God be with you, and thanks for what you're doing again. Rangers lead the way.
Rangers lead all the way. I'm not used to. I'm on the enlisted side, so I'm not used to saying the all the way side.
All right, right on. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Have a good one.
Hi, this is Jay Irwin. I'm an Army veteran, and you're listening to the New American Veteran on Vets on Media.
Jay Irwin just graduated from school back in Wichita, Kansas, and he has been a great volunteer with Gallant Few. A lot of times, especially with Rangers, he's one of the first contacts that the organization makes with somebody that reaches out to us. So Jay, thanks for everything that you do. Congratulations on graduation. I know he's not listening right now because he is on a very late honeymoon, and he's somewhere down below the border on some beach with his wife. He just got married this last year too. So anyway, Jay, thanks for everything that you do. I'm going to keep the show a little shorter today. There's no reason to drag it out just because people don't need to just listen to me talk. If you would like to learn more about Gallant Few, gallantfew.org is our website. If you are a veteran or know a veteran that needs assistance, in the top right corner, if it's an emergency, you'll see my email, my mobile phone number, and Clarence Matthews, who's another Ranger veteran, you'll see his email and mobile phone number right there at the top. So you can get a hold of us. You can reach somebody from Gallant Few pretty much 24/7. There also across the menu bar at the top, there's a link to get involved. And there's 3 types of people that we need to get involved with Gallant Few. And the first one is the veteran that has successfully transitioned. Because once that veteran is successfully transitioned, they have all the bumps and bruises. They have the historical knowledge of how they went through that. And wherever they live, whatever community that they're in, they are probably now connected. Most of the veterans that I know, they've gone back, they've gone to school, they now have become an attorney or an accountant, or they're a sales manager, or shoot, I even know some that are car salesmen and used car salesmen at that, but some of them are pretty darn good at it. When you are back in a community and you've had a little bit of time to process and return and assimilate, and transition is really a better word than assimilate, but you probably have made connections, whether they're at your church or you go to a social Chamber of Commerce event or Rotary Club, to be able to bring a brand new veteran that's transitioning out of the military that just lands in your community, to be able to bring that veteran into those arenas, the Chamber of Commerce, the social organizations, your golfing buddies. That opens up the door for networking opportunities and potential employment opportunities that you never in a million years would find. And here's how it works, kind of in a nutshell. We talk a lot about Rangers. I'm going to shift away from that, and I'm going to talk about an Air Force jet engine mechanic. Let's say an Air Force jet engine mechanic leaving active duty from southern Texas, female, and she wants to go live in Omaha, Nebraska. Maybe she grew up there. Maybe she's just always wanted to live in that part of the country. We want to find a female Air Force veteran, jet engine mechanic veteran that lives in Omaha. So she can be a mentor. She can greet that new veteran when she returns to that community and go through all the things that I just talked about. Grab a cup of coffee or a beer or a glass of wine, sit down and talk about what is your transition plan, how are you going to meet, how are you going to network, are you going to go to school, what do you want to study? Okay, so you're going to go to school and you want to get your MBA. Well, guess what? There's somebody that goes to my church that is business manager of XYZ. Let me set up a lunch for the 3 of us, and then now you have somebody on a professional level that can connect and mentor and assist while you go through that schooling process. A lot of people think, I'm just going to go home and go to school, so I really don't need to be connected. What we find is when that veteran goes home and goes to school, they do not have the same immaturity level of the other students that are in that class. When you think about somebody that has 1 to 10 deployments, and they have been responsible for life or death, and they've seen things that have given them wisdom and age beyond their years, and they go back to a classroom where that other college kid is more concerned about the next Call of Duty game that's coming out. And hey, I like Call of Duty games. They're a lot of fun. But when that is the focus of what's important to them, then that veteran that's in that classroom starts to get disgusted with the environment, starts to withdraw, schoolwork starts to suffer. And I've seen studies that say that as many as 25 or 30% of all first semester veterans drop out of school. And they don't drop out because the school is hard or they don't want to get an education. They drop out because they don't fit in and they feel like they're outsiders and isolated. Now, if there's a local person, a veteran that is a mentor that is just like them, a lot of times I'll put up a slide when I'm doing a presentation and I've got Dr. Evil and Mini-Me. And that, in a nutshell, is what we want it to be. We want Dr. Evil and Mini-Me, or maybe change it to Dr. Goody. But we want them to be as much alike as possible, one mentor, one mentee. And that mentor can help that veteran student go through their studies, can help them stay on track. And, if you're checking in, let's say every Friday, that veteran mentor is checking in on that veteran student to say, how'd the week go? You running any snags? Is there anything? Yeah, now I'm in this calculus class, and I never took calculus before, and I'm having some trouble. Well, guess what? Maybe that mentor knows an engineer that goes to their church or belongs to a social organization that would be willing to sit down and help tutor through some of that stuff. So I could beat that. I could talk about that for hours about the value of that. But I'm not going to do that now because we're going to end the broadcast. But that is the number one thing that we need is we need veterans to step out and say, I am here, I'm in this community, this is my background, and I'm ready to mentor somebody. Now, I've had some of those veterans that have contacted me after 6 months or longer and said, hey, I'm out here. Why haven't you gotten a hold of me? I want to volunteer. I want to help. Well, it's because I don't have a mini-me that's entered my pipeline that's coming into your community. The second that I do, I'm going to be looking in that community for who's there, and I'm going to get them connected together. It could happen tomorrow. You could wait a year, and then tomorrow could be the time that it happens. You could sign up today, and tomorrow there might be somebody that comes in. So it's impossible to say. So we need those veterans mentors to go gallantfew.org, get involved, and then read the thing there, and you'll see where you need to click. The second that we need is we need veterans that are transitioning to enter into the system and tell us where they're going, what they want to do, and what their experiences have been, and then we can match them with somebody that's in the hometown. If we can make that happen before they're a veteran while they're still leaving active duty, then we can jumpstart that whole process of returning into the community. The ACAP programs, as well-meaning, as intentioned as they are not worth very much because the veteran that's leaving is focused on leaving. They're not focused on what's being taught in the ACAP program. And there are a number of reasons why the ACAP program is much less effective than people would like it to be, but the reality is that community, the hometown community where the veteran goes, has got to take responsibility and provide the citizens, the resources, the mentors to help bring those veterans to transition them back into their community. The third type of person that we need is a civilian, somebody who never served in the military but can lend their expertise. You could be that engineer that could help tutor somebody on a calculus problem. You could be somebody that's an expert at sales that can help teach another veteran that comes off active duty or a veteran that comes off active duty what the world of sales is all about. Because I didn't want to go into sales when I first left active duty because I always thought the sales profession was slimy and the stereotypical used car salesman was not what I wanted to be. Well, I learned later on that it is an honorable profession and you can make a lot of money if you're good at it and you're diligent about it, and veterans are able to do that, very much so. So, gallantfew.org. You can, I'm trying to think what the other sites that I was going to say. I talked about descendantsofsparta.com already. Check descendantsofsparta.com out. Run Ranger Run is our annual awareness and fundraising event. It's going to kick off towards the end of the year. RunRangerRun.com. If you don't know what that is, go check it out, get involved. We have a brand new focus on Marine Corps veterans, MARSOF, Marine Special Operations, and Marine Combat Troops. And we're calling that the Raider Project. So if you are a Marine veteran or you know a Marine veteran, point them towards raiderproject.org and learn about what's going on there. I do want to also say this episode of the New American Veteran is brought to you by USAA. USAA proudly serving the financial needs of the military community. USAA, we know what it means to serve. Let us serve you. At the end of every show, I play taps. Before I do that, I want to tell you real quick, I had a conversation with Adam from Vets on Media a couple of days ago, and I asked him how we were doing because it's kind of difficult sometimes to see what the response is. And he said, we're the #2 show on their network. #2 show on their network. We've only been over with their network for a couple of months, and that is that's phenomenal. That shows me that our message is the right message, that it's of interest to the audience. If you want to come on the show, reach out to me, gallantfew.org, top right corner, mobile phone, email. Reach out to me so that I can get you on the show. If you have transitioned as a veteran and now you are on the other side of that and you want to share some of your experience, come on the show and let's talk about that, and let's plug your business while we're at it, like Black Side Concepts. I want other veterans to see them, see what they're doing, and help bring them into to the civilian side by providing that example. And again, like I said, I could talk about that forever, but I'm boring you to death by now, and you're going to drop off the line. So I wish the Nomadic Veterans all the luck in the world. It's going to be fun to follow them and see what goes on, and we'll keep you posted as time goes on with what's going on here. That beautiful rendition of Taps is a public domain recording created by a soldier or employee of the United States Army, and as such is not eligible for copyright protection in the United States. Kenny Thomas' song Send Me is used by permission of Kenny Thomas. All other work or recording is original work or used by permission. This has been a presentation of Gallant Few's The New American Veteran on the Vets on Media Global Network.